Welcome back here to a fresh new weekend of the Los Alamitos Weekend Preview Show. I'm Jose Contreras here for your LosAlamitos.com preview alongside Christopher Wade, your Los Alamitos analyst. And Chris, right off the bat, I'm going to remind you about the nice winner you gave out to the viewers last week. RC Ain't She Famous? And she was what, 6-1, 7-1 at post time?
No, she was 5-1, come back at 1340 and got the absolute perfect nose bob, got there on top of the wire after getting beat a nose in this prior race by long shot beat Pragmatic. He was our best bet, so we were right there with our best bet, got beat a nose, and we very well could have won the race, a little bit better getaway, and then it came back with the price play. RCHE Famous who got there and come back at 1340 and got the perfect nose bob and got the victory.
If people watch back that race, the two prices horses we mentioned, which was the Heath Taylor one that was also improving, they were the exacta. I don't remember what the exacta paid, but there were 5-1 and 6-1 or 7-1 in somewhere. So that was a nice exacta in that preview race. Yeah,
the two horses I think were off like 6 or 7-1. The exacta come back pretty nice, so our numbers were pretty solid there. Yeah. But RC Ain't She Famous got the perfect nose bob, and we got the nose bob victory there at 1340. It's a nice little return.
Yeah, and I believe it was Mark Jassel, right? Mark Jassel has been picking up a few long shot winners in the last few weeks.
Yeah, he sure has.
All right. Before we get into the race for this preview race, any thoughts about California Breeders' Champions Weekend? I'll rattle off some names, and you tell me what you thought. London Toby. What'd you think of London Toby?
London Toby ran pretty well.
He finally broke. That was the key for him. He broke. He showed that he's still at the top level, winning the Grade 1 Spencer Childers for Doc Arrett. So London Toby, to me, was the highlight of the Saturday card. And then the Sunday card, how about Future Virgin in the Derby, Chris? Demolishing that field for Cruz Mendez and Jose Flores. That was an impressive win for Future Virgin.
Yeah, that was incredible. The horse won the prior effort by a neck.
Yeah.
And on my comments, won handily, won with what left to give. With everything factored in, our numbers was our third number, but the horse steadily broke on the lead and said race over, good night, kick. Horse was very, very impressive there. I think it was like 4-1 with all said and done.
Yeah, that was an impressive win by Future Virgin. He's off and rolling to a very strong 3-year-old campaign. All right, let's talk about Saturday night. We have 10 races. I'll have a selection that I'll give out later in race 5. You're going to race number 7. And then Mike Wrona will be in race number 6. So we'll have selections in that middle part of the card. Let's go to race number 7, and I'll bring up the PPs here for this race number 7. And here it is. Race number 7 is 300 yards further. And we got a field of 8 runners. There's a pretty good group lined up, but I know you like the look of number 6, Bloodbath.
I'm going to give Bloodbath a look. The horse 2 races back was claimed by a one Alleman company. And the horse did run third that night. Horse had a good amount of trouble, bumped back and was crossed and finished well and gapped out very, very strong. Was a horse to watch off of that effort. Was claimed, went into a straight maiden contest and went off at a decent price of 3-1. And this horse did lean back at the start a little bit, kind of back bobbled and drifted out and kind of slow in the stride, but caught stride midway. Leveled out strongly, was striding out very, very well near the wire and galloped out very strong. And with expected a better getaway tonight, second time for one Alderman. I think this horse has a look at the outcome. The ability is there. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and showing that big run late. It's a nice size individual. I'm going to give the horse a look there at 3-1 to be a big factor in that 7th event.
And what was
off the late pick 4.
What was interesting, Chris, is that Quan Alderman claimed for 10 and they immediately protected this one right back, right? So that's showing a little bit of confidence here. This is the replay back on July 8th, and he was the 6 horse, right, this night?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, let's roll the replay. Race number race number 3, gate number 6. What you see in this replay?
The horse is moving his head a little bit away from the gate, kind of leaned back at the start, and then kind of drifted out early. Was slow in his stride, gave up a length and a quarter. away from the gate. And Sloan describes a big-bodied individual, but watch this horse level out nearing the wire. Stride, just caught level stride right here and was moving strongly and galloped out very, very well. With everything factored in, the horse earned a pretty good figure on my charts. And I'm going to give the horse a look there. That was the first time blinkers off that particular night, so hopefully the horse will get away a little bit better. And the horse was a pretty solid worker prior. He was a B-plus worker, so the ability is there. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and showing that run just a little bit earlier to be a big factor there at 3-1. Second time for one element.
Also, I just noticed that he took the blinkers off for that specific race. So let me check. Are the blinkers still off? Yeah, it looks like the blinkers will still be off. So interesting move for Juan Aleman. Blinkers off. This is usually a move that Jose Flores tends to do and experiment, but it looks like Juan Aleman with the blinkers off experiment, that was a solid effort.
Yeah, it certainly was. With everything factored in, my numbers, the horse is a big look at the outcome, just hoping for just a little bit better getaway. And a nice-sized individual could definitely be a big factor in that seventh event, kicking off the late pick 4.
That's going to be a good one. Race number 7, start of the late pick 4. It's a very good wide open event. Rio's Renegade 5-2, Jesse's Wagon Cash 6-1, Jim Hardy 5-1, Right On 5-1, Bloodbath 3-1, and then we got a couple of long shots towards the outside. It's an interesting race. Chris, you're tackling the tough races. You want to break down some of these races for the viewing public. I like that. I like that you're giving them a selection in this event. Yeah,
we're just trying to get the wagering public, get them a couple winners so they can come back tomorrow night.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun, definitely. It was a good weekend of racing, of course, with the California Breeders' Champions weekend. And don't forget, also on Saturday night, we'll have a rematch of Scoops Dynasty versus Empressum in the Bank of America Challenge there at Los Al. That's gonna be quite a rematch to end the card.
Yeah, great. Empressum, so very sharp. Scoops Dynasty got within a neck of them last time, and you could go any a number of ways. It's a closely matched affair with all factored in. It's a great way to close out that pick 6. Don't forget, $37,000 plus pick 6 carryover. It's going to be a monster pool.
All right,
and guess what? All quarter horses too.
If I had to force you about the final race, if I had to force you to single, you can't take both of them. Empressum of Scoops Dynasty right now.
Man, that is so very.
Are you going with the gate speed of Scoops Dynasty, or are you going with the closing kick of Empressum? What are you doing?
Well, you're going additional 40 yards, so you got to give the old hard knocker heavy favorite the slight edge Empressum. Yes. He's so very sharp, and he breaks well and can finish well. So going the additional 40 yards, I got to give him the slight edge.
Smart move, because that's the main thing for me. If you're getting an extra 40 yards, I think that's the main positive for Empressum. But it's going to be hard to separate them, without a doubt. That's going to be a fun way. All right, Chris, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with that selection, Bloodbath, and see if you can repeat here with a nice winner for the show.
This get her done, as my grandpa used to say.
That's right. Have a good rest of your Thursday afternoon. I'll see you this weekend at Los Al.
All right, boys. You have a good day.
The Los Alamitos traditional pick 6 continues to rise. On July 2nd, a carryover of nearly $15,000 led to a total pool of over $150,000. On July 9th, a carryover of $15,000 led to a total pool of nearly $160,000. Plus, with no jackpot provisions, the Los Alamitos pick 6 can pay big time every time. And if we don't have a carryover going into Sunday night, we'll add 10 grand to the pool. That's right, the fast-rising Los Alamitos pick 6 is one of the country's best.
Well, Michael, as soon as you take a night off, there's a pick 6 carryover. I don't know if that's a secret formula, but we got a pick 6 carryover in excess of $30,000 for this Saturday night. And welcome back to the program, and also welcome back from your Vegas outing.
I do recall pick 6 carryover on the previous time that Ed Burgart filled in for me. And that's going to really spice things up on Saturday night.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a fun one. We got a 10-race program. How about that duel to end the night, Empressum and Scoops Dynasty in the championship, a little bit of a rematch? Do you feel a lot of players are going to just double up and essentially buy the race, or you feel that they're going to take a stand?
In the final race Saturday night?
Yeah. How do you feel?
I think that people will single Empressum.
Yeah.
And I would too. And I heard your segment with Chris, and you hit the nail on the head. It's the extra 40 yards. That's the single mentality for me. I mean, poor Scoops Dynasty. Imagine that he is still a maiden in his 4-year-old season.
Yeah.
He's had a nose defeat to Empressum, a nose defeat to Shott Gun, a neck defeat to Empressum, and he finished third behind Apolitical Pence and Empressum in the Brad McKenzie Winter Championship. He's a marvelous horse, and I'm a big fan. But Empressum's going to win because it's the 440. I just can't entertain any other outcome. Although, if you really want to be picky, you could say, well, post position 2 is interesting because he had the 2-hole when it took him until the last stride to get up and win earlier in the season. And he had the 2-hole when he was beaten by Apolitical Pence last year. But I can't see Empressum not winning.
Yeah, I think the 40 yards is just too beneficial for him. I think that's the main difference. So we'll see when the morning time. Actually, the morning line is out, so I'll scroll through the morning line and see where Ed laid this one. Speaking about Ed, big salute to Ed for coming in and filling in for you.
Yeah, and I'm sure the fans thoroughly enjoyed it. And I actually am behind with my replays. I've got some catching up to do, some note-taking to still make. But I caught a handful of Sunday night races. I saw the big win in the Governor's Cup Derby by Future Version.
Yeah.
And I also caught a race halfway through the card when the winner came down the extreme outside from off the pace, got up by a nostril. Not only did Ed call it correctly in the photo, but his anticipation of the horse actually getting by was phenomenal, because he was calling this horse as the likely winner long before he got his nostrils in front. So he's lost nothing, and he's still absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it was.
What an ambassador for the sport nationwide.
Yes,
because he continues to do the work for AQHA, writing blogs, etc. And he's just he's a marvel. He's a treasure.
Yeah, he is. He was still ready to get in the booth. He sounded fresh and ready to go. And the name of the horse was Ready for It in the California Breeders' Freshman Stakes.
Yeah, that's it. The Freshman Stakes.
Yeah, that horse was coming off a layoff, and he looked impressive. He really showed up with a good, strong leg kick. Let's talk about Saturday night's races. By the way, I'll mention it right out the way because it just came to my mind. I think our weight on Pragmatic was just too us. We'll call ourselves the jinx on Pragmatic because it feels like the weight of both of us was too much for Pragmatic to overcome, as he came up just a nose short.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating couple of weeks for me on the preview show. Mind you, Pragmatic with the flipping halter on, we both thought, I certainly felt that would make the difference for him early in the race. And he still just gave away a little bit too much start. However, what a dirty, ugly, rotten beat. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
To miss by a nose.
Yeah. He made up so much. He made up maybe a length and a neck in the last 100 to 150 yards. It was a tough beat for Pragmatic and his backers that evening.
Yeah, and my pick the previous weekend was scratched, and we'll circle back to talk about that horse a little later on in this segment.
For sure. All right, let's talk about your selection for this week, and it is going to be in race number 7. Is that the selection? Let me check. No, race number 6. Yes, race number 6, a runner that we have kind of talked about before. Number 6, quarter horses going a distance of 300 yards, maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds, and I know you're giving one more chance here to Watchfully.
Yes, Watchfully was my pick on the preview show last time out on the 1st of July, and that came off 2 very troubled races. Excuses galore for Watchfully in the first start and the second start. Now, I have to admit that she had her chance when finishing second last time out, but I think I underestimated the horse who won that race, Basking. We'll take a look at the replay. Watchfully had her chance from the outside gate, but Basking, who was number 3, overcame a heavy bump at the start and was still able to win.
Yeah, take a look here. So Watchfully had the outside post, and I thought it was a pretty good break, but there was a little bit of lugging in early on.
Yes, but nothing compared to the bump that Basking encountered. And I came out of that race tipping my hat to Basking and thinking, well, all honours with the winner. Watchfully was second best, and fair enough, you move on. Now, subsequently, Basking went into a trial to, was it the John Deere Juvenile Challenge?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was very interested because I really did think that this win we're looking at now was pretty good. Was interested in how she would measure up in a tougher futurity trial, and she ran fourth with no luck at all. It was actually a good run. So I'm willing to admit that I underestimated this filly.
Yeah.
And so here comes Watchfully back into action this Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to give her another chance. Her individual time in this race was 15.89, which is nothing too thrilling. But look at the others, Jose. The one horse, I'm a Thirst Quencher, 15.95. Last time, Thundering Eagle number 2, 15.97, with really no great excuses. Out there in gate 6, you have Three's Company at 4-1, who finished behind Watchfully in the same race. With some trouble, I admit, but I don't know that there's any horse in this race as good as Basking.
I had made notes on her since her workout back on April 4th, where she showed some ability in that 1240 workout. And, she hadn't had any luck in the first 2 starts, but she took money. She was 2-1, 3-1, again, 5-2 last time out. So she's taking money every race. And she's bred to be a good one by Apolitical Jess out of Dynastia told BRZ. That's a very good pedigree that kind of tells us that we still haven't seen the best of Watchfully.
Yeah, it'd be way too early to give up on her, and I'm in for one more crack this Saturday night. I fleetingly gave some consideration to my pick from the preview show 2 weeks ago. I was mentioning earlier, I've had a frustrating couple of weeks. My pick 2 weeks ago was scratched and comes back to debut in the 5th race tonight. BF, He's Outrageous. The horse actually had a gate work on the same weekend a fortnight ago. And so I'm very interested in how he does, but I think that it's a tougher race than when I picked him 2 weeks ago. I think it's actually a really good, interesting maiden. Apolitical Open MRL's the favourite.
Yes.
And dropped a nose decision to No Can Tell, who was actually my pick on the preview show 3 weeks ago. So that's my last winner on this program, was 3 weeks back with No Can Tell. So here comes Apolitical Open MRL after a nose defeat. And then I'm scared of both the first-time starters, drawn 1 and 2 for Heath Taylor and Paul Jones. They look very interesting. Terrific Cartel out of the mare Terrific Energy. And the gate works for both make me think that they'll be formidable. So I thought, well, 3-1 BP, He's Outrageous, pretty deep race, and I just prefer 9-5 Watchfully. I think she's got a better chance at 9-5. But now you're going to tell me that you're jumping on board this horse.
Look at me. I'm taking my saddle and I'm jumping. I'm jumping on BF He's Outrageous, because I thought, look, if he's going to be 3-1, I'm going to take my chances. We both thought there was some ability in those early works, and then there was a gap in the workouts, right? So that was the main concern. And then you're right, when he was entered, what was it, 2 weeks ago, he was in a race where it looked like it was just a 2-horse race, him and another runner. When he got scratched, all the money went on to the other first-time starter. And actually, that race ended up being won by a first off the claim Sergio Morfin long shot winner. I believe somewhere in the near double digits, 12-1, 15-1, somewhere along those lines. So yes, I'm kind of in agreement with you where there's ability in the workouts for both the 1 and the 2. There's pretty good solid works of 1240, but I just feel like their pedigree on both the inside 2, they definitely want more distance and more seasoning.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
I think the first step out of the gate, I think it's enough for BFR races from what we've seen. I think in those workouts that he might be able to break well from gate 4 and have a clean path to run. So I think this is where I'm going to take my stand on the card, Michael. I'm going with BF. He's outrageous to bounce back after being scratched a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, it makes good sense, and I wish you the very best of luck with him. I think it's a very interesting way to start the pick 6 sequence. But if BF He's Outrageous wins, and half an hour later Watchfully drops a nose or a head or a neck decision, be in a great frame of mind.
Yeah. That should be an interesting storyline to follow between us on that Saturday night if that comes to fruition. So I'm taking BFE as outrageous at 3-1. I think it's a very good race because of the first time starters and the experience of Apolitical Open MRL. But I think there's other ways to go here. And actually, let me scroll here in the past performances because I have not looked at the morning line of the featured event. Let me scroll all the way back.
He's 2-5.
Okay, here we go. Scoops Dynasty is 2-1, Empressum is 2-5. The world champion listed at 2-5 on Edinburgh's morning line. And the extra 40 yards is the main benefit here for Empressum, without a doubt.
And Shott Gun is 4-1, nicely positioned out there in gate number 6. But I'm not hearing of Empressum losing. I think he'll be marching on to the final in October at Lone Star Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's when he gets those legs going, and I watched back that replay of the Vessel Maturity. He broke about as good as he's broken ever for his standards. He's not a fast horse out of the gate, but Empressum broke us. You can consider that gate break fast for his standards, and he needed every bit of that break to shake off the very game Scoops Dynasty.
Scoops Dynasty is performing at an elite level, so consistently. Wonderful racehorse. He just happens to have the misfortune of racing in the same era as an all-time great.
Yeah, for sure. His resume speaks for himself. 7 for 16 in some very good, close finishes behind some very good runners. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun way to end the night. The Grade 2 Bank of America Challenge on Saturday night, part of course that pick 6 carryover, and a lot of players will be looking at that leg as a pick 6 single and a pick 5 with Empressum in the mix.
Yep, there'll be a lot riding on that for sure.
All right. Anything else to wrap up here on the show? We talked about Breeders' Champion. By the way, Professor G is going to send us a video to recap the Breeders' Weekend, so we'll have that video to end the show following our segment. But good to have you back. How was the soccer game experience?
The experience was fantastic. I got a huge buzz out of it. Yeah. Just watching the players warm up before the game is something that I thought was tremendous. Had good seats, quite close down to the pitch behind one of the goals. I knew which end the big Manchester United fandom was assembling. A lot of the chanting and singing that I hear on the television watching their games. I was surrounded by a few lunatics, and there was some really good atmosphere at that end. It happens to be the end where Manchester United warmed up, so I got to take pot shots into that goal for 15 minutes or so before the game, and the goalkeepers warming up. So from that standpoint, it was just wonderful. The performance itself was a bit spotty and overall slightly disappointing, but it's pre-season and they can still improve in a couple of areas. They have a couple more signings still to come. The season starts in earnest in a couple of weeks from now. But I just enjoyed the chance to be there in that kind of atmosphere, and it was a memorable occasion, and I'm grateful to Los Alamitos for releasing me, and once again for Ed Burghardt to come in and nail everything like he did. He's a sensation.
Yeah, we just send out the bat signal, and Ed Burghardt comes into town, either to sit by for me in the desk or go up to the booth and call for you. So kudos to Ed. He's always willing to just come out and help us out, and of course the fans. That's a great treat to be able to have Ed still in the mix.
Speaking of Las Vegas, what's that background I'm seeing?
If you're a hotel connoisseur of Las Vegas, Nevada, you do know where I'm sitting at. Actually, I'll give you I got a mobile setup, so I'll give you just like you did at the press box at Del Mar.
Oh, yes, right.
I'm gonna do my my best impersonation of yourself. Here we go. So look at that view of the golf course in the back. That's the Wynn. That is the Wynn. That is the Wynn golf course.
Nice.
That's the new Sphere. Have you seen photos of that Sphere lit up at night?
I've seen better than photos of that Sphere, because on our trip this past week, we were staying across the street from it. We were high up at the, it's the Horseshoe now, formerly Bally's.
Yeah.
And we're looking straight out at that Sphere, which is the largest in the world. And it is phenomenal. The different displays, the images, the lighting effects at night on that thing. It's absolutely thoroughly impressive.
Yeah.
And I ended up staying 3 nights, coming back yesterday, Wednesday. Who would have thought that a soccer game could last so long?
I'm sure your lovely Kathy was twisting your arm just to get an extra night in. Just an extra night. That's it.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm making a quick turnaround. I had some unfinished business I had to take care of. It's a special secret, special assignment. I had to come out. So I'll be making a quick turnaround back to my home here. So it's a nice view out here. The Sphere is, when they turn it into the eyeball, it could be a little bit creepy when they turn that eyeball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, it's been a cool addition to the nightscape here in Las Vegas.
All right. Well, I'll be on special assignment again next week. So who knows where I'll turn up.
Oh, well, that's good. That's fun. Well, always fun to catch up with you. Welcome back. I'm glad you had a good experience down in Legion Stadium. And catch up on some of those replays. By the way, quick thoughts. Did you watch London Toby in the Spencer Childers, by the way?
Well, I hope I did. I called it.
That's right. Here I am kind of thinking about Saturday and not Sunday, but
you haven't had a couple of cocktails in Vegas already, have you?
Yes. What do you think about London Toby with that bounce back win?
Oh, mate, phenomenal. We always knew he had that kind of performance in his locker, and to see him put it all together in such a professional fashion, as I heard you say on FanDuel TV and again with Chris, as soon as he broke that well, you knew that the outcome was inevitable, because he's that talented, and he put up a blistering final fraction, 9.32 from memory. So, it was a real treat, and I'm sure a great thrill for Dr. Allred and Scott Willoughby. They've had no shortage of frustration, I suppose, with the horse. You know, he's had his issues. They've had to be very patient, and to see him put up an effort like that at Grade 1 level, it's well deserved. And who knows what awaits in the second half of the season? Yeah,
a win like that is definitely one of those confidence boosting wins. You know, that could really propel him to getting back into that sharp form.
Yeah, he's a top liner, and he could be a force in some really significant races still.
Yeah. And, of course, speaking of a California Breeders' Champions Weekend, congrats to Dr. Ed Allred and Scott Willoughby. That is when their Calbred operation shines on weekends like this. They have plenty of winners throughout the weekend. Yeah.
I mentioned last week on this program that they were loaded, and they had a fantastic weekend. Yeah. Well done.
All right. Well, good to catch up with you, Michael. I'll be making a quick turnaround, and I'll see you back this weekend at Los Alamitos.
Okay. Safe travels. Enjoy. Hooroo.
All right, and for the rest of the viewers here, we'll leave you with a nice video via Professor G recapping the California Breeders' Champions Weekend. Have a good rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you next week here on the Los Alamitos Weekend Preview Show.
You see that on the inside of Wild Thing? You see that? A triumph for Mike Castleman, the owner, the breeder, and the trainer of the Governor's Cup Futurity winner of 2023.
Happy. All the credit goes to the Burns Ranch. They helped raise my horses and breed them and get them ready, break them, and that's what gives us the opportunity to run a nice horse like this. So I'm happy about that. Happy about Separate Interest. He was my first real decent horse, and so it was fun to see him have a winner.
And you mentioned how you've had good luck with this mare, and you've had horses like Rock's Win and she traces back to Miss Kitty's Barbette, a lot of
Right.
history with this horse and the Burns Ranch. And
Right, yeah, she did. You know, I picked this filly out, her mother out for Russ Stooks, and he ran her when she was 2 and 3, and then I ended up buying her from Russ, and then we've bred her to separate interest ever since. So we've got some other babies coming.
and what does it mean to accept that trophy from Dr. Burns and your sister Jo
Well,
Ray?
you know, that's really what it's all about. It's a family deal, and you know, we were hoping to have a couple in for them, and it didn't work out. So anyway, I'm glad they're here supporting it.
London Toby, the fulfillment of great promise as he romps away with the Spencer Childers, defeating.
Big race finished well, and this horse, you know, we've always known he's a great horse. You know, he got sick and had to have about a year off, and it's been a hard road back, but he's sure doing great now.
6 times you won this race, a stakes record.
Well, Spencer was a great man, and it's fantastic to win a Spencer Childers race with any of the horses, and the Doc's horses are great. Been doing really well.
In this race, it seemed like at the halfway point, he just hit that next gear and just pulled away from the group.
Yeah, he breaks extremely strong, and he's got a heck of a gear down on this end, so it was great to watch.
That's from Future Version, just absolutely blew away the field.
Yeah, he did. He did everything right. Just accelerated after 50 yards out of there, you know, and never looked back. You know, he just did everything right tonight, and it's a horse that was real. We had a lot of problems as a 2-year-old, you know, coming along, and luckily, you know, he's done it right now and going and becoming the kind of horse I knew he would always be.
The Los Alamitos traditional pick six continues to rise. On July 2nd, a carryover of nearly $15,000 led to a total pool of over $150,000. On July 9th, a carryover of $15,000 led to a total pool of nearly $160,000. Plus, with no jackpot provisions, the Los Alamitos pick six can pay big time every time. And if we don't have a carryover going into Sunday night, we'll add 10 grand to the pool. That's right, the fast-rising Los Alamitos pick six is one of the country's best.